Yes, indeed. 1 2 1 2. Share the knowledge live. Share the knowledge live. Share the knowledge live. We back, baby. DJ RB in the building. Tex Willer in the building, all the way from Cameroon. Salute, salute, salute. Gonna fix something real quick. No, that's not here. Yes. I was doing a little experimenting, trying to get Instagram back in to stream to Instagram as well. Using Yellow Duck. Yeah. That still didn't work really well. So it said I was broadcasting, but I didn't see anything on Instagram happening, so I just turned that off again. Okay, that one is on. Cool. And the other one we'll fix in a second. Cool. RB, are the Gico needles equivalent to Shure M44s? Yes, they are. They most definitely are. I love using them. They give me that Shure feel. I couldn't do a proper comparison because the Shures that I had are either just broken or kind of worn out. But they give me the same type of stability. Love the sound coming from them. So could there be differences if you did like a really a technological rundown, like record audio, see if the levels are all the same, if it has the same frequency range and all that? Maybe, but I do know Gico takes their business very seriously when it comes to making these replacement needles, and I love using them. That's all I can say. They really make me feel like I'm using the Shures again. Jody Vaden in the building from Allentown, Pennsylvania. DJ J Wu in the building. Curtis, I appreciate that subscription, bro. Much love. And Matt Wiley is here. What's your favorite needle for the Reloop RP 8000 Mark II? Well, I don't have a favorite needle per turntable, so I just have favorite needles, and I'll use them for all my turntables. And at the moment, the one I'm using is the Gico, the replacement for the Shure M44-7, and I'm using their DJ edition. So they have the, I think they have Club DJ and something else. And DJ is the one that's supposed to be the most for DJs who use needles the way I use them, incorporating a little bit of turntablism and all that. But yeah, I really love using those. So anytime I'm using needles, matter of fact, I have a turntable. I have an RP 8000 set up right here now because I'm actually in the process of selecting some vinyl for upcoming Monday. The Crates stream on Monday will be an all vinyl stream. And yeah, normally I really last minute grab vinyl just out the wall here. So for this coming episode, I want to try to at least have a selection so that I know what I have in the crates, because like the last couple of times when I did vinyl, I just grabbed a bunch and I had no idea what I had. So while you're playing, you have to go through everything. So I want to make sure that at least I have a couple of crates that are filled with vinyl that should be good to go. So I'm also going to try and just do a quick test listen to see if the vinyl is still in good condition, because a lot of my vinyl has been tortured over the years. But we'll see how far I'll get, because that takes a lot of time. So my prediction is I'll do an hour of that today, and then I'll end up not having any more time. What's that sound? I heard the sound. And I'll probably end up not having any more time until Monday, and then the rest will be just grabbing it out the wall again. So yeah, I do play freestyle, J Woo. So the live sets are not planned at all. Any of the live sets I do on Monday, they happen the way they happen. That doesn't mean I do no preparation at all. Sometimes I will take the time to go through BeatSource, for instance, and pick out a bunch of songs that I might want to play, put them all in one playlist, and play mostly from that playlist. Now, I have still no idea in what order I'll be playing tracks. Half of the tracks might not be played at all. But for instance, if we take the stream I did 2 days ago on Monday, I had no idea. I just knew I had my folders in Serato, my hip hop, my R&B. I knew I was going to do mostly throwback. So I stayed mostly in the first, I did the 90s to 2000 hip hop. And then I even went back further and I did a lot of or R&B. And then I did a lot of New Jack, but none of it's prepared. DJ Jers Mike, salute to you as well. Chris on the mixes here. What's going on? What's going on? And who else is here? Pelican, I appreciate that follow. And just in time, 710, that sub. Much love, much love. King Chun, what does freestyle mean? So freestyle means that the set is not prepared. So I do not know what I'm going to play and when I'm going to play it. Now, I might have an idea. So for instance, my streams on Monday are hip hop R&B streams. And if I chose to do a throwback set, then I know I'm going to play like mostly 90s R&B, 90s hip hop. And in this case, it was 90s R&B, 90s hip hop, New Jack Swing. And I did a couple of newer tracks later on. So I know which folders I'm going to grab tracks from. But I'm grabbing the tracks when I'm doing the set. So I do not prepare what I'm going to play. That is what freestyle means. And normally freestyle would also mean that you're reading your crowd and let the crowd dictate where you take it. So I know I'm going to a party, I'm playing hip hop and R&B. I'll start playing songs and I'll see what kind of reaction I'll get for the crowd. If I'm getting no reaction when I play a certain style, that might not be the crowd for that style. Try something else, get a better reaction, go in that direction for a while, and so on and so on. So that is freestyle, not prepared. Darnell, what's going on, brother? And DJ Palace, the record pool I use is DJ City. When I use a record pool, I do not spend enough time checking new tracks. I just did it for the first time in a couple of weeks, 2 days ago. Because the last, I don't know how many times that I've been DJing the live sets here, I've used Beat Source like 80% of the time. So I'm not even using tracks that I downloaded. I'm taking stuff off Beat Source. And like Monday stream, that was just my own folders. Because look, now I'm using Beat Source a lot during my live streams, but I've been DJing for too many years to mention. So my digital crates are full. I have a lot of music, especially if we're doing throwback. That's my era. So I have enough. And throwback is not something you really get from a DJ pool anyway. When DJs mix, do they always tell a story whenever they mix, or they play any track for the crowd reaction? That's really different. Sometimes you'll hear DJs talk about it, how when they're DJing, they're actually trying to build a story, you name it. And true, I respect that, and I believe that. But then again, there's a lot of DJs who do not have any type of story. They just know, okay, this is the type of crowd I have. Now I'm going to play songs that they like, and they'll just go at it and hit them with hits. So it depends. Some DJs put more thought into it. Some DJs go more off feeling. So when they go in a certain direction, they just feel like, I'm going to go this way now because that really fits with the type of style I'm playing now. And it kind of turns into a story. But it's really different per DJ, for sure. DJ Kylo was good. Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that Rev 7. I try to take advantage of it as long as I have it here, because the one I have here is not mine. It's Pioneer's, and I was lucky enough to get to test it and do the review, but test it, play with it. That's the thing. I have a good relationship, and that allows me to have it here a lot. But this is a small country. It's not like Pioneer here has like a stack of them laying around. So if other DJs here, more prominent DJs, would also want to try it, this is the set they're going to use. But it is on my wish list. That is my favorite controller by far right now. VDJ Ratch, what's your favorite scratch pattern? I have no idea. That's the honest truth. I have no idea. I do feel like when I'm just doing some freestyle scratching, I tend to do certain patterns. Just I feel like, oh yeah, this is a pattern I've probably done before. But my scratching is as freestyle as my DJ set. So even when I do my Saturday sessions videos, where I'm in the latest like 10 or 20 Saturday sessions, every 4 bars I do a pattern The second I start scratching, that is the second I decide what the pattern is going to be off feeling. So before I start recording my Saturday sessions, I have no clue what kind of patterns I'll be doing. Even during the 4 bars when I'm not scratching and I'm waiting for my part to begin again, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm actually not thinking about what I'm going to do. I just start and something comes out. So I'm almost too freestyle when it comes to that. That's why a lot of times when I do scratches in my live sets, I'll see comments sometimes like, hey, what scratch did you just do? Or what pattern did I just do? Most of the times I don't remember, even if it's a couple of minutes ago, because I was freestyling. So I have no idea what I'm going to do. I do it and then I move on. So I don't have a favorite pattern. Now I love to transform. So I like certain techniques, love to transform. I love to do like chirps and scribbles and depending on what type of music is playing, like if it's up tempo, a little faster cutting, but no favorite patterns really. Miles East says, I'm learning to DJ hip hop and funk. Been gigging at trance nights for a couple of years. Totally different ball game. Do you have any vids on the various types of mixes of these for these genres? No, not really. I mean, I haven't played trance ever, so I have no knowledge when it comes to that. And if I'm playing funk, most likely I'm playing funk during some sort of hip hop themed event. So I'll add on some funk because it will fit with the type of hip hop I'm playing. I don't do like full funk soul nights or anything like that. If you were to do like a full type of funk and soul night, I could really imagine that you're not going to play with the same type of intensity and speed as they tend to do with hip hop parties, where they switch the tracks really fast. If you're doing a funk and soul party, most likely you're going to have an older crowd and they don't go out as much. They really like to enjoy the music, so you probably play your songs longer. It's going to be different mixing style, because if you're just doing funk and soul, then you're playing music that's played by live musicians. So the music isn't quantized. So mixing takes more of an effort. You cannot use sync for that type of music. So you'll be paying more attention to your mix. So that is something that is different about the style. But yeah, I don't have specific videos when it comes to that. Do you place your cartridge needle on an angle on the head shell or leave it flush to the head shell? I've done both. I mean, I've done the angle thing once, like years ago, after I saw like a bunch of DJs do it. Like I was like, okay, maybe this is more stable. Let me try it out. I honestly didn't really notice a difference. So like 99 out of 100 times, if you see me with needles, they're just going to be flush, just the normal style. How do you like the PLX 1000 versus belt drive turntables for mixing? Look, any direct drive turntable is going to be an improvement over belt drive turntables. I'm actually in the middle of editing my latest podcast, and it's about choosing gear, about the different options we have, and also a little bit about my gear history. I started with belt drive turntables, and that was the only thing I had. So when I first got to use direct drive turntables, that was like a major shock. Like the power and the torque in those turntables, there's no comparison. And I would never tell anyone to start with a belt drive turntable. Like start with direct drive. So a PLX 1000 will feel 100 times better compared to belt drive turntables, just because they lack the power that is needed. So if you've never used belt drive turntables before, they don't have enough torque, enough power to start a song straight away when you press start. It has a little startup time. This also means that when you're mixing and you're adjusting and you're using the side to nudge it, with belt drive, before you know it, you nudge it too hard and it goes way too far forward, or when you slow it down, it almost slows down to a halt. You won't have that with direct drive turntables because that motor is stronger. I was actually having a talk about that today with another DJ, and we were talking about how I never did it, but some DJs back in the days, I would always see them when they were adjusting the speed, the tempo. They would not nudge. They would use the spindle in the middle and hold that pin and move it forward. The only logical sense for that is if you're using belt drive turntables, because you give it a smoother adjustment compared to ramming it on the side. But yeah, for me, the There's no comparison. Absolutely. Let's see. Okay. When DJing long sets, what are things you can do to avoid pain in your back and legs? Good question, actually. I mean, I would suggest you start it. Maybe you are doing it, but make sure you work out. Working out really helps. I remember when I was doing longer sets, at a certain point, I did have lower back issues. Then I started to work out more, and all my lower back issues were gone. Legs, I never had issue. I've always had pretty strong legs, so I've never felt like, oh, I've been standing for 4 or 5 hours. My legs are killing me. Not really. And I move when I'm playing, so keeping a little bit of motion in there also probably prevents you from, if you're standing still a long time, certain parts might stiffen up a bit. But working out really helps. If you have issues with stuff like that, I think you should actually probably stretch and make sure that every once in a while you do like shake it off a bit and move a bit. That could help. At what time of the night do you think a DJ should propose new songs to the crowd? There's no specific time of the night, in my opinion. I mean, it probably helps if you already have the crowd on your hands. So if you've been pleasing the crowd, giving them a lot of good stuff, they might be more forgiving, but it's going to depend on the crowd. Certain crowds will just not react well to anything they don't know. And other crowds are more open to it because they're just more music lovers and they just enjoy the vibe. Like I've had the different experience. I've had a lot of parties where the crowd is actually just like pretty commercial. They just want to hear what they know. And as soon as you play anything they don't know, even if it's the exact same style of the other tracks you're playing, if they don't know it, they're like, yeah, I don't know what this is. To me, it's always mind-boggling because if someone would play me a new track and it has a banging beat, crazy melody, I'd be like, yo, what's this? A lot of people aren't like that. And they really just turn off immediately if they don't have that recognition. And then there's the parties that, I mean, are a DJ's dream when you just have people in there who honestly don't really even care what you play. They just love the sound. So they like the style. They're having a good time. And you can tell, like, hey, I'm playing a new track, but they're still dancing. They might not give you the recognition, the extra energy from recognition, but they love the music and they'll dance to it. So I'll always give it a try, test the audience. But if I can tell, like, these people are really not into it, I'll limit it. I'll still do it every now and then, but then I'll just give them, like, one verse of a new banger and make sure I have, like, a familiar track ready to bring in right after it so I don't totally lose them. But I don't have a specific time for that. King Tune says, as a beginner, I find it fascinating for DJs to play for a 5-hour gig and they freestyle as well. Does all those song memory come over time? Because I can't play for that long, at least. I would beg to differ. I think it's probably more, it takes more effort to do a 5-hour gig and prepare it. Because the amount of work it would take to prepare a 5-hour set, that is a lot. You have to do the total song selection, figure out exactly what you're going to play when, work out all of the transitions, that the amount of time that would take, and then you have to remember all of that. I would much rather play freestyle because the crowd's energy is going to change over that time as well. So it's, yeah, I mean, knowing your music is important because if you're playing freestyle, then yes, a lot of times when you're playing and you get a certain reaction with a certain song, if you know your music, you're probably automatically going to say like, oh, they like this. Let me grab that because they'll probably like that as well. That's only going to happen if you know your music. If you have no idea what type of music is in your crates, that's going to be an issue. So knowing your music is important. It's really important. And Vinyl Richie, yes, it's been asked 100 times and it's going to be asked like at least 1,000 times more. That just happens when new equipment comes out. A lot of people just want to hear from people who've tried it out. To me, and I will always say that because people have different experiences, different opinions. To me, it's the best motorized controller out there, without question. So for me, it's my favorite controller. If you're not into motorized controllers, different story. But for me, this is my favorite controller. And when I compare it to the other motorized controllers, this beats them by far, simply because of the layout and the features. I will finally have a Rain 1 here in a couple of weeks to test it for the first time. That's a thing that's been waiting to happen for like 2 years now. And I know I'll probably like it a lot. I already know I will like the Rev 7 better because of the layout. That mixer section is the exact same as the mixers I use, like an S9. This is like an S7 in the middle of your controller. The setup of the player parts with the pitch control at the top, the same way I have my turntables in the battle style, I freaking love it. Having the room for the platters because of your performance pads being in the mixer section, that clear space feels really comfortable. The display in the middle of your jog wheel, I love it. And the feel of the motorized platters, I love it. So for me, I feel it's built for a DJ like me. So yeah, absolutely love it. And that's not saying that the Rain 1 is not a good motorized controller. I just know, even if the jog wheels will feel exactly the same, even if the crossfader will feel exactly the same, even though I've heard from people that that's not the case, and I really like the crossfader on the Pioneer, even if the feeling was the same, then the extra features and layout for my workflow, the Rev 7 would be better for me. But that is a personal thing. As the DJ, salute all the way from Greece. Well, all the way, it's not that far from Amsterdam, but yeah. Best mixer for vinyl records. 7072 S7 S11. So normally I would say that doesn't matter. And especially with those mixers, if you're playing real vinyl, you're not taking advantage of most of the features that are on any of these mixers because they're really made to use with software. Doesn't mean they don't work great with vinyl. I'll be doing my vinyl set on Monday with an S7, but I have not done the comparison when it comes to the phono preamps in the S7, which are great, by the way. They have a great sound quality for vinyl. I don't know how they compare to the 72. 70 I can't test, 72 I can test. I have that here. And I have not tested it with the S7. With the S11, have I tested vinyl with the S11? Yes, I have as well. So I know it sounds great. It's probably going to sound real good on the Rain as well. I couldn't call any one of these the best because you're not going to use the features that differentiate them. Like an S11 and a 72 have a screen. You're not going to see waveforms on your screen when you're playing vinyl. 70 and the S7 don't. The performance pads, you're not going to be using them for the normal features. There's no hot cues, none of that. So, yeah, they're all going to work just fine. But if you're picking a mixer to buy and it's just for vinyl and you don't plan to do any DVS stuff, I don't even know if you need one of these mixers. So there are other mixers that would work as well. But if you even have it in the back of your head that maybe in the future you also want to do DVS to control DJ software, then you can't go wrong with any of these mixers. Raw Beats 94. How do you like that interface? Which one are we talking about? The Rev 7? If so, I probably just answered it, I guess. If you meant something else, let me know in the chat. Okay, Vinyl Richie has an interesting point, and I didn't know that, didn't test that. So S11, because Rain does not have the BPM sync on analog. That's a good one. Oh, by the way, I would think the Pioneer mixers would be better anyway because the Pioneer mixers will have the onboard effects and the Rain mixers won't, right? So I would say, I'd probably say S7 or 11. Does the 7 not have the BPM sync on analog, just the 11? Because I have not tested that. So let me know, Vinyl, Richie. And yes, the phono preamps on the S7 are great. The ones on the S11 should be even a little bit better. So it is a great option, but it's not cheap though. K-Dub, what's good? K-Dub just bought the Numark Scratch Mixer for price reasons, and so far it's great. Yeah, I've heard good stories. I just haven't tested it yet. Thanks to you, I switched from Tractor to Serato. Notice an improvement. I was just having a talk with someone today about Tractor, and not even about the software, but just more the fact that it doesn't seem as if like DVS is that important to them. For the simple fact that the only mixer they ever made for DVS was their Z2 mixer, and that's been out for 10 years now. I mean, yeah, with just the four little buttons on the side that you could use for your cues. I mean, I would assume if DVS and the scratch DJs and anything like that was even of a little bit more of a priority, you should have seen at least a newer version of that, probably with some better performance pads on there as well. And besides that, I do not talk to a lot of DJs in my scene who use Tractor. I know it's great software. I just don't know a lot of people who use it now. The ruckus was good. What also helps your back is making sure your platform is either 40 inches tall, waist level. You're so right, and I should have mentioned that straight away because I still see so many pictures and videos of DJs. So not people who get to touch the equipment once, but people who are actually playing on tables that are so freaking low that they look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame the way they're standing. It's absolutely ridiculous. Make sure your setup is high enough. That is definitely important because if it's not the case, your back will start to feel it. I've been in many places where I had to just MacGyver my way through it by finding anything I could use to elevate the setup because I would come in and they would have like a regular table, which would be like my freaking waist level. And waist level for me is too low already. I have to hunch. I want it higher than that. If I had my flight cases with me, if it was my own setup, then I would use my flight cases to elevate. And otherwise, I would find anything that they would have in the building to help me just elevate everything a little bit. So great point. That is very important. So DJ Ned, that's a good question. No, with the Rev 7, you can't use it the traditional way. That's why this is really a specific market. It is for people who really want to have the motorized platters. You had some of the motorized players that had the option to turn like vinyl, the motorized the motors on and off. Let me put it like that. So yes, the Rev 7 does not have that. So feed me CDs. I answered that one. I'm seeing it now. So yeah, no. I should have. I was supposed to have the Rain one a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, there were some delays, and I think it's mostly also unfortunate for them because now I have a lot of experience with that Rev 7 before I try a Rain one. But do you think the Rain one is still worth having? I think that's just a personal thing. It's not a bad controller. I know that without even testing it. The Rain 1, it is definitely not going to be a bad controller. And if it feels anything like I think it feels, you can probably do fine with it. I just know for my workflow, if I had to pick, the choice is easy because the Rev 7 is just so much more like the way I play. And I made that argument on Instagram the other day, and someone took it really literally when I said this is like, to me, it really feels like a setup with turntables and an S7. And I got that reply like, it's no way near that. I'm not saying that the Rev 7 is the same thing as two turntables and an S7, but it does give me that same feeling. Yes, it's going to be smaller platters, so it's not the same thing as my turntables, but it is a setup with smaller platters, but the battle style setup and that mixer section is just like the S7. So my workflow and motorized feel gives me the exact same experience as I have with turntables, but the turntables, of course, are bigger. There is a slight difference there, but there's nothing like playing with the Rev 7 as a substitute for when I can't play with a turntable setup. The Rain 1, I don't know if that's going to give me that same thing, but that's the same experience I have when I'm not using one of the S mixers and when I use, for instance, something like that Reloop Elite, which is a great mixer. It's just not as great for my workflow compared to when I'm playing with my Pioneer. That's what I'm used to. Love the paddles. Still have to get used to the way the effects work on that Elite. Love the onboard effects on Pioneer, and I'm used to those. So anytime you're playing on something else, even when I'm playing on the 72, I like it a lot, but I'm still not as comfortable as I am on my Pioneer mixer. But if it's going to be worth it, that's going to be different for everyone. Because the Rain 1 is still a dope controller. It has a couple of things that the Rev 7 doesn't, a couple of differences. Some people just cannot deal with the pitch control being at the top. So if that's something you really can't deal with, the Rain 1 will have it in the position where you're used to it. The elevated position of the Rain 1 for some will be something that's important. A couple of other things I think that are different. That's something I can compare once I have the Rain 1 here. No better Mohican than the last one. Brian, what up, man? Alles goed? And yeah, I mean, during this period, it's hard for DJs during this period. It is. So I can consider myself lucky because I have this. So I can still create work for myself. They just ended the lockdown here. So I just got my first booking for July. And actually 2 for July, but I'm already just, I will always just keep in mind that things might get canceled again, as has happened like twice before in the last year and a half, that they would lift restrictions. I would get bookings. By the time the bookings were about to happen, things had gotten worse again, new lockdowns, gigs gone. So yeah, I have new bookings, but yeah, we'll have to see. So this is something I do control, the content I can make, get myself out there, and also still just have a revenue source. How can I promote myself as a beginner DJ? So first off, I mean, it's DJ Z, much love to you. I understand what you're saying. You want to promote yourself. It just the question here just sounded a little bit weird to me because I don't think you want to promote yourself as being a beginner, but I understand what you mean. Look, the first thing is just to be out there. You have to network, and networking during this time is going to be different in different locations. In some locations, you can go out. You can go out and meet DJs, promoters, owners, be at clubs. People need to know you, know that you are a DJ. So real life networking, online networking, and having an online presence, making sure people can actually discover you. And when they discover you, that they can click on something to see and hear you. Those things are important. And you want to make sure you have that before you actually start to promote yourself. I was having this talk, well, not a talk, a little talk in the DMs on Instagram, and I was talking to this DJ, and I looked on his page, and on his page it said he was like a DJ, mobile DJ, wedding DJ, photographer, I think videographer, and something else. And I just checked out the profile, and on the profile there was no link to a website. Now, if you don't have a website, you should at least have some type of one pager where people can find all of your stuff. And that could be like a Facebook business page, or you get a Linktree account or Mana Live account where you just have one page with links to your SoundCloud or Mixcloud. If you have videos, links to your videos. So first off, you would need to have like some audio and maybe some videos. But there were no links. On the Instagram page, there were basically no photos when it said like photographer, videographer. If you're going to tell people that's what you are, people should be able to see a portfolio. Same thing with the DJing. There were only a couple of pictures of like sort of a mobile setup with speakers and a stand and whatnot. But that was it. So if people by chance discover your page and that's all they find, they're not going to stick around. And the only information was like a booking telephone number. Hey, look, if I come on a page and I don't see any type of material that represents what you claim to be, there's no reason for me to call to ask more questions. So if you want to get yourself out there as a DJ, you have to have the promotional material, audio and video, and just your presence. Be out there. Like I said, network in person, but online, the same thing. If you play a certain style of music, you want to follow artists that make that music so you can check out the comments under their posts and also comment there, and not comment by saying, hey, I'm a DJ, check out my page, but just be part of that community so people can actually see you. And if you have something interesting to say, struggling here, about the artist, or people can tell like, hey, you really like that artist too. Maybe they'll check out your page. When they do, they need to be able to see and hear what it is you do. That's just a quick little off the top of the head. There's more. But then again, people should also not try to promote themselves too much if they're not ready. So if you don't have material yet, promoting yourself, doesn't really help. People should be able to, when they find you, be able to check something out. DJ Todd, appreciate that follow. Don Carlo, appreciate that follow as well. The Ruckus, at least 3-hour sets, and it's always freestyle. Yes, sir. Same here. Mr. Arnab, please suggest me a studio monitor under $150. Ooh. Good question. And I don't have a clear answer now. The thing is, I was actually looking at studio monitors not that long ago, and I just don't remember if the ones I saw were under 150. I don't know if KRK has a model for under that price. So studio monitor, are we talking reference monitors for like making music and mixing, or just monitors in your studio to use for your DJing? That could be important, because then you could maybe get some other tips from the chat. So let me know that. DJ Kylo says, but you haven't tried the Denon SC 6000M. Who knows, maybe this beats the Rev 7? No, of course not. The Rev 7 is an all-in-one controller. The SC 6000M is one player. I have the 5000M. Really like that. I mean, the motorized platter feels like an NS7 feels. Pretty sure the Rain 1's going to feel like that too. Nothing wrong with the feeling. You have the great interface and screen, you name it, dope. You're going to need 2 of those, and then you're going to need a mixer. And yes, you can connect them to control Serato, but they're more like standalone players. So that's not a comparison for me. That's not a controller all-in-one device. So, no. Now, a setup with 2 6000Ms and an S7 in between, I would kill it on that. That would be dope. I don't know if I would kill on it more than on a Rev 7. King Tune is back. Missed the question. Let me see. And as you can tell, that was posted like 20 minutes ago, 50 minutes ago. So King Tune, I'm not sure. I think I answered one of your questions or two. The 5-hour set, the memory thing. I think that was you. And if that was you, then my answer was that you just really have to know your music, and that playing a freestyle 5-hour set is always going to be easier than having to prepare a 5-hour set in advance. So I don't know if you caught that answer or not. Hopefully they'll come out with a version like CDJ 3000 plus S7. Yeah, I mean, that, I don't know. So basically that would be something like, let's say, an upgraded DDJ 1000, because the 1000 has the same jog wheels as the CDJ 2000. So let's say we would get an upgraded version with the jog wheels of the 3000, because I love those jog wheels. They're dope. They feel really great. Not motorized, but they feel really good. So to have that, but then to have something like a S7 style mixer in the middle, I think that would be dope. If you would have the screens in there as well, like on the CDJs. So are we talking standalone or just controller? I mean, that would be a killer type of standalone device. And Vinyl Richie never used an S7. I mean, basically S9, S7, S11, it's basically the same. The S7 and S11 are a little bit more in line compared to the S9. A couple of features there that are not on the S9, but basically the workflow on all of them is the same. And let's see, Feed Me CD says I use the S7 with vinyl and it's great. You have all the onboard effects and you get the auto BPM count as well. Yes. So that's the thing. Like the S7 and S11 have very good phono interfaces. So you get good audio quality from your turntables and the onboard effects. That's what I love about them. Sam, what's good, Sam? Your thoughts on the Rev 7 platters? Did it feel stable? And if you own the Rain 1, are the platters good enough to switch from Rain 1 to Rev 7? How did you like scratching on it? I loved scratching on it. I really like the feel. The material they use, I get a great grip on it. Love the feel. Cannot compare it to the Rain 1. I can't compare it to something like the 5000M or the NS7. And I mean, the NS7 was different because it really had like a piece of vinyl on top. The 5000M doesn't. That's a different material. I like all of them, but the Rev 7 had a really good feel. I cannot compare it to the Rain 1 yet. But the feeling is great for me. And Sheena was good. My thoughts on the S7. I really like that. You can go to you're on my channel, by the way, now. I have a video about the S7 and a comparison between the S7 and the S9. So you should check that video out. Go a little bit more in depth when it comes to the features and what I like about it. But I think it's a great mixer. You basically get the same thing compared to the S9 for a better price with a couple of features that are in line with the S11. A couple of small things that aren't on it that were on the S9. For some people, they are important, like the effects on the microphone. For me, that's not a deal breaker. For some people, it was. Which the Rev 7, by the way, has. You have your echo on your microphone. But yeah, check my S7 video. Vess is in the building, at least has been in the building for 12 minutes. What up, Vess? AJP 2022 in the building. Was good. How can I make a 45 adapter? Ooh, I've never done that. I mean, you can buy a lot of different ones. So, I mean, how to make one, I don't know. Philip Tam was good. Has anyone tried putting turntables on one of those motorized standing desks? Might we be a way to get the ideal height? No, but the desk I use for my streams is also a desk that you can change in height, but it doesn't have a motor. It has a little crank that I can pull out and I can spin it one way, and it can go all the way up to 120 centimeters or as low as 70 centimeters. So, and they are pretty stable. It's the same one as the desk version I have here. This is a bigger version, but they're both the same, both from IKEA. And you can change the height. So I can use it if I'm doing a DJ set, I can crank it up. If I would have to do something else where I needed it to be lower, I can lower it. If I'm sitting here working, I can sit here. If I've been sitting for too long and I would want to, for instance, do a little bit work while I'm standing, I could get this one up as well. Did the platters on the Rev feel flimsy? No, not at all. Not at all. They're in there tight. I mean, it's easy to remove that top part, but when you click it back in, that does not feel flimsy at all. Das Hawk says stretching is vital. Stretch regularly for better general health. Yeah, that is the thing, though, not just before gigs. Just stretching in general is a good thing. I never did that when I was younger. If you want to step up your physical strength and stamina, consider practicing Qigong. I think you pronounce it. Tai Chi or yoga. Bruh, I'm actually just dabbling a little bit in a form of yoga, and it was really an eye-opener for me again how not flexible I am. And I mean, I'm not like stiff in any way, but yeah, I could use a lot of improvement, and that is definitely showing me that I have to work on that. I guess I should ask a question. Magvel Pro or Mag 4? Mag 4. What's the Mag 4 again? Let me know. What's the Mag 4 again? Which mixer has the Mag 4? Like the Magvel Pro, I'm very used to it. The Magvel Fader Pro in the S9, S7, and also in the Rev 4. And I really, really like that one, but I don't remember what the Mag 4 is. Or is the Mag 4 the one that's in the rain? Brad, what's up, Brad? Didn't you use the V7? I don't know what's going on with the words today. I think I do. 7. See? Liquid. NS7. I still have my NS7, the original one. I'm having a hard time justifying that these two new controllers are giving me more than the V7. again, for me, it's a weird comparison comparing a player, because to me, a V7, I know it's a controller, but it's one player. You have, and you can't switch decks, I know, but it's one device. You still need a mixer. It's not an all-in-one. So for me, it's pretty hard to compare all-in-one controllers to separate units. But you don't have to justify getting new controllers. If the setup you have now is working for you, then why would you switch? Simple as that. If there's no reason for you to switch, if the setup is working just fine for you, do not switch. That's all I can say. Don't spend money just because there's something new and shiny if your current setup is working just fine. I feel you answering the Rain 1 question. I'm very similar to workflow. Yeah. Reloop 7000 Mark II and an S7. I know I'm going to love that Rev 7, just considering the Rain 1, especially because people are selling them like crazy and you can get deals on them. Yeah, I mean, that's a fact. The Rain 1 is being sold by people, so there are deals on that. But I would say, like, if your workflow is the 2 reloops and an S7, the Rev 7 is going to feel way more like the way you play compared to using a Rain 1. Rev Kev, what up? Ed Random, what's up? Salute. Are the audio interfaces such as Rain SL2, 3, and 4, and then on DS1 still work with the new M1 Max? Even if you use Serato DJ 2.5.5, or our audio interface for Serato being phased out? Cruz, a great question. I actually do not know. I don't know. That is something that should be up on the Rain website if they're compatible with the M1 Max, because I don't know. I still have my SL1 here, which probably doesn't work with anything anymore right now, but I don't know. I mean, you do see that there is, I mean, I don't think they would ever get rid of them, because you are able to sell your system to people that already have a full DJ set by offering those audio interfaces. It is the cheapest entry into that world if you currently have a turntable set with a mixer. If you would have to go out and buy one of these pretty expensive performance mixers, that's going to cost you a lot more than buying one of those devices. So I have to assume they work. And if all of these mixers work with the M1 Max now, then I would assume that those are going to work as well. But check the Rain website. It should be on there. Big V, good day to you. And we got the Mike Harris in the building. Pioneer DM40s are good for 150. Ah, cool. I have not used those yet. I have a set of Pioneer reference monitors here, the RM7s, but yeah, that's a different price point. Oh, Godzone, different name. So wait, Godzone, are you normally logged in from YouTube? That the name is different? Must be. All right, second one with the Pioneer DM40. The third one with Pioneer's DM40. So we got, the chat is helping out. So that looks to be a great suggestion. DJ I says, what type of information would you put on a one-sheet resume if you only had a few bookings at a bar? Well, in that case, I mean, you could definitely list those bookings if those are your bookings, because it's more than no bookings. But beyond that, your one sheet should definitely have links to audio and hopefully video. That's it. I mean, if you don't have, I mean, a resume, I can imagine that for some people, a resume could be interesting. I don't see a lot of people booking DJs off a resume unless the resume holds like very interesting names, like, oh, that DJ played at that and that club. Otherwise, I don't know how interesting it is, besides the fact that it might show that you have experience. I think they would rather hear and see something. So you have to make sure you at least have like mixes online or some video material if possible. Beyond that, I don't have a lot of experience with that. When I first made like a first, let's say like resume, the list was already pretty long when I first made one. I just went to use my for practice my DJing skills and light music. Arnab, I'm trying to follow the line here. I just went to use for practice my DJing skill and lightly music production. Oh, sorry. That's your reply for the speakers. Okay. So for DJing and a bit of music production. So I think you should look at those pioneers. That's what I'm seeing here from the DJs in the chat. And Vest says a CDJ 3000 and S2 controller would be 3000. Yeah, probably. Chris on the mix has another suggestion. Arnab, if you're cramped for space, the iLoud speakers are a great choice. They have a surprisingly big sound. I have not used those or seen those yet. Finds one was good. Spyro in the building, salute. Why do you think that the Pioneer XDJ XZ has one USB connection and not two? I'm not sure, but it should have had two. I think any type of player controller of that level should have just the dual USB. So I'm using the DDJ 1000 as I'm a beginner, but I'm interested in getting something newer with more options of turntables. What advice can I give me directing me? Rev Kev. Okay, so the 1000 as a beginner is also, that's pretty big. And I don't mean big inside. The DDJ 1000 is a great controller. That's definitely not a beginner controller. So more options, you have a lot of options on the 1000. So the only thing is, if you say like, if you want something like turntables, so you want to go for the moving platters, then your option is either turntables or a controller with motorized platters. And that would lead us back to either a Rev 7 or Rain 1. So yeah, I mean, hey man, a DJI 1000 is a hell of a controller though. So you would have to be absolutely sure that you need more options, or if you really feel you want to go for the motorized platters. Otherwise, you have a great controller there. Mike Chappies, I see you. I appreciate you. Robert Smith, yes. The S7 is a lot of fun indeed. Smooth J, do you use smart crates? Yes, I do. I do. I have normal crates and I also have smart crates. I use them actually more in Record Box, especially when I was making playlists to put on some flash drives. And I had a lot of music in Record Box, and I had a particular thing in mind. So I made a couple of what they call intelligent playlists, which is the same thing as the smart crates in Serato, and set those up. So I had one playlist that was really aimed at like a little bit of a higher BPM for the stuff I play. So it was from 105 to I think 115, and another one that was really aimed at like the 70 and 140 stuff. And I mean, they're a great solution for getting together a batch of songs that would match in certain ways. Yeah, Philip Tan, I really like these desks, and someone in the chat will probably have the name of them before I do. Otherwise, I'll have to look it up. But for me, that was the perfect solution. I mean, I have a small space here. I know sometimes, at first, I only had this one. That's right next to me here. It's out of frame. There's one here. That's the one I DJ on. That was my desk, and I had something else that I used to DJ on, but it was just not stable enough. I just noticed during the live streams, everything was wobbly. So at a certain point, I was like, I have to invest, and my desk became my DJ setup because it is more stable. And I found out they had a larger version because this one was actually a little bit too small to fit all of the stuff I want to have on the desk. But yeah, they're great. Just to have that option to change the height is really great. I could actually even lift this one up a bit, take the other one down a bit, and it could fit underneath it if I really had to have some extra space here. Okay, Ruckus, thank you. So the Mag 4 is Rain. Then I would have to go with the Magvel Fader Pro. I like the one on the Rain as well, so it's definitely not bad. I mean, I never have issues when I'm using the Rain 72, but I really like that Magvel Fader Pro. Vess, no, it's not whiskey. It isn't. It isn't. If it would have been any type of alcohol, it would have been rum. So I basically never drink, and if I do, every like once a year, it would be some rum and not whiskey. but there's no rum in here either. Let's see. Yeah, Brad. I mean, I understand that pressure for new stuff. I mean, the new shiny thing is always appealing, but people fall for the trap, though. I've seen people in the comments now that I've dropped a lot of videos with the Rev 7, like they see one video, they see how it works, and they're like, oh, okay, I got to go get that. Now, for some, that might actually be the case, that it could improve their workflow, make their performance better. For some others, it's probably once they have it, it's not really going to change the way they play or improve it. And I mean, yes, then they'll have the new toy and they'll have a lot of fun with it. But yeah, if it should only be if you can actually afford that. Let's see. I see my sandwich. What's that? Whoa to my sandwich. Hi. Nick Music. Salute, salute. What streaming software do you use for your set? Oh, OBS. I'm using OBS to stream. And I use OBS, and from OBS I go to Restream, and from Restream I go to all the platforms. So I'm currently on like 6 platforms with this stream. So that's YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, and Mixcloud. Mixcloud. Oh boy. My apologies for my Mixcloud family. Wow. I forgot about y'all. Oh, Nick Music, you were there too. So you switched to YouTube. I see that you were on Mixcloud. I didn't check there. And Sean, I see you on Mixcloud as well. Salute, salute. I hope they fix that, man. I need Mixcloud in my Restream chat app. Fantifier Selector. Much love. Trying to check out videos of how to blend tracks better. I'm already playing in the club, but I want to have those killer sets. More of a dancehall DJ, and I don't scratch. Do you think scratching is really essential? No. No, it's not. I think it's a great add-on. It's a great skill to have in your toolbox to be able to add it. Even if it's on a basic level, I think it adds something. But for me, the reason I do it, the most important reason is I love scratching. It's a lot of fun to me. It's never been something like, hey, I have to show people this. It's just that I want to do it. And I have to actually like restrict myself so I don't do it too much. I love doing it, but it does give you something extra that a lot of other DJs might not have. And I know DJs who do add it to their dancehall sets as well, even if it's like in small portions. But it's in no way is that essential. Okay, Sergeant Crease Grease says, I'm pretty positive all the SL boxes are legacy hardware now. They may or may not work on Windows 10. They work on 10. Even the SL1 works, DJ Cruiser says. I mean, I think it would be crazy if all of them are legacy and don't work on the newer systems. Like I said, it's the best low entry level point to get into that, besides from controllers. So if someone has a full turntable set, like one of those devices would be the best entry. Mazu Sub, salute. Please help. I'm about to get the MacBook Pro M1 Max 16 specs, 10-core CPU, 32-core GPU, 46 gigs of memory, 1 terabyte SSD, but it's expensive. Or should I just? And then it stops. Or get the 32 gigs unified memory, which is cheaper and still looks powerful. I currently still DJ with my MacBook Pro 2013 with good speed. So are we talking about for DJing, Mazu? Because if we're talking about DJ, both of these are like completely overkill. And so they will both work just fine. So the only difference is that the one is going to be 46 gigs of RAM and the other one is 32. I mean, 32 is going to be sufficient for basically everything you're going to do, man. I mean, 46 is 64, sorry, is crazy, but let me know what you're going to use it for. If this is for DJing, we are talking about way above what you actually need. Any new equipment recommendations for beginner DJs? Wow. So we're talking controllers, I guess. Garvin, let me know. And Chris Grease says, I wonder why Reloop hasn't made an RP 7001 or something that can transmit a DVS signal through its RCA outputs, like as a switchable mode without having to use control vinyl. I mean, that would be dope indeed. That would be dope. And Big V says, I used Rekordbox for the first time on Monday. Man, it's confusing. Reminds me of Virtual DJ. Really? No, I did not have that experience. For me, Rekordbox feels a lot like Serato. It really feels a lot like Serato. So what made it confusing, though? Because overall, most DJ software will work the same. I mean, like for me, Tractor is really a little bit different just because of the way it's set up. And with all the add-ons and all the tabs and you name it. I didn't really have that experience with Rekordbox. Let's see. The Ruck says all standalones have only one USB. Yeah, got you. The XZ is the standalone one, right? Okay. Yeah, then they can be used as controllers, but they are standalone. I got you. Yeah, I mean, I know it from the RX3 and 2. Yeah, that makes sense. Like and let's be honest, if you buy one of those, you're buying them for their standalone functionality. You're not buying them as your main controller. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. So in that case, I understand. There's some issue with my Pioneer DDJ 1000 sound card. I gave it for service. They said that Pioneer has some issues in sending out parts around the world. Is that true? I don't know. I mean, let's be honest, in the last year and a half, parts and supplying parts has been an issue for a lot of brands. So it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, that's been an issue for just a lot of brands and stores getting either equipment or parts in. Availability is down. So yeah, that's definitely a possibility. But I mean, I don't work there. I don't know how their supply chain works or any of that. So Atul, I cannot answer that for you, but it makes sense. I mean, a lot of brands have stuff on back order because it's just not coming in yet. Yeah. DJ Epic, salute to you. Let's see. Finds one says, IKEA used to make a dedicated DJ table called Sponst. Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. Mate, what's going on? Thanks for the content. What do you think about TikTok for DJs? If you were a beginner, what type of content should you've posted on TikTok? I think TikTok is an underrated tool also probably for DJs, but it's just a great way. Some people have a lot of success, like just still getting some organic reach through TikTok. On some of the other platforms, it's getting harder and harder due to all of the algorithms, or they just want to push you towards doing like paid promotion. So when it comes to the type of content for DJs, I'm still not sure yet. I have a couple of things I want to try out, and I don't have data yet. I mean, in the past I've posted a couple of things where I was just doing a quick mix, and one got like quite a bit of attention and views, and the other one got no attention. And I have posted so little over the years that I don't have a good reference to see like, okay, this type of content works, this type of content doesn't work. I have the same thing with the Reels on Instagram. I've hardly ever used the Reels. And when I did, I posted a couple of things, and one got 20 while the other one got 2,000 views. And you're like, okay, what's the difference? But that's not a large enough portion of content to actually check analytics and see what the difference may be. Is it because of the way it was shot? Is it the way when you posted it? Is it a tag that you added? I don't know. I just know that on TikTok, it is possible to have more organic reach compared to some of the other platforms. All right, Brad says the SL3 works perfectly with Windows 10. Yes. The Ruckus. I'm still working on getting my hands on XMG laptop because yes, it is. I know from speaking to them that they do have the DJ and producer in mind. So they have specific laptops where they really before they send them out, they really try to optimize them for our way of using laptops. But I have not tested it in person. I'm working on it. This is also something that has been delayed, and that might have something to do with just shortages and you name it. But I am working on that currently. Yeah, like Brad, the issue for the the SL1 used USB 1. That's why it is not supported by Serato DJ. And I've had people contact me in recent weeks that they had an SL1 and it wasn't working, and I have to let them know, like, yeah, that will only work basically with Serato Scratch Live. So they made that conscious decision, like, hey, we'll not be supporting that in the future, because they could just tell, like, USB 1, that's not going to cut it. But yes, the SL2, 3, and 4 are USB 2. So that's already like a world of difference right there. Ray Escobar, I see you. And yeah, that the Ruckus, I know about that. I mean, I have seen a couple of the creators from the US like showcase the XMG, but they are based actually right next to us. They're based in Germany. And I think at the moment it is just Europe, right? But once I get my hands on one, I will be sure to let you know. Robert Thomas says I started on the DDJ 400, and Ray Escobar also just said DDJ 400. I have a DDJ 400 here, and that is a nice entry-level controller. Fountain Fire Selector, I am born and raised in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, Europe. And Ray Cash, the mic I'm using right now is the Rode Pod mic. Love this microphone. It's a little over $100, probably like 110 or something. And I like the sound quality. I mean, the combo of the Pod mic with my Rodecaster Pro, love it. I've never even optimized it yet. I just have it connected to the Rodecaster, and in the Rodecaster, I selected the Pod mic profile. And yeah, love the way it sounds. I know just by feeling it that it is a very, very durable. And I say this every time, but it's true. It's built like a tank. It's pretty heavy also. But I love these for a podcast, for live streams like this. I use them for my DJ streams here. I would not take these on the road. I'll use a dynamic mic for that. But for here, I love using these microphones. Joe DJ 127 has a question. Why, when DJing while live streaming, in order to prevent your audience from hearing you queuing up your next song, what is the setting I use? I have a Numark Scratch. The settings are either cue or program. But wait, I'm trying to figure out what's happening here. Because if your fader for your channel is down, the one you're queuing on, then your audience shouldn't hear that. It shouldn't be going out to the speakers or to the stream. So I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm missing here. Like, you can set the settings on your headphones to cue or program or cue or master. That's just to set what you hear in your headphones. But your output, it should only be sending out the fader that you have up and open. Or I'm missing something here. But if you're playing on deck 1 and that fader is up and your crossfader is set to that side, or let the crossfader, just leave the crossfader out. If the other fader is down, people should not hear the other deck, the one that you're queuing. So who ate my sandwich? The Audio-Technica LP120s. I've heard stories, good stories. I just never tried them before. But I've heard these mentioned many times. So I would say look up, just make sure you check online. I think Mojax did a review. If Mojax did a review, that should tell you all you need to know. Who else did? I think DJBooth.net, they also did a video about these. But I've heard good stories. DJ Plus, you want to upgrade from the SB3 because you need a better fader. Okay, so SB, so you're talking a Serato controller. Yeah, better fader. Damn, it's been a long time since I compared like faders on a lot of the controllers out there. I mean, I have the DDJ 1000. That is really a step up. The SRT, that has a nice crossfader, but that is a big step up. Which other ones did I try? So there's a lot of controllers out there that I have not tested, so I don't know how good the faders are. So again, chat, let's jump in right here. If we're upgrading from the SB3, I mean, I went straight to a 1000 SRT now, what I just said, but something in between or other options. Mazu sub, yes, for DJing. I know they work good, including my current old MacBook, but I'm stuck on Mojave. Don't want to upgrade to newer OS because of the current components. Well, if it's only for DJing, then both the systems you mentioned are way overpowered. So you'll be fine with the 32 gigs of RAM. I don't know how big the price difference is between the 32 and the 46, because you could say like 46 is future-proofing if you want to decide to do crazy production on it as well. You want to have like 100 plugins running at the same time. I mean, sure, but those 32 gigs should last you quite some time. Mad Live, salute to you. Love what I just got, but can you recommend some better slip mats and where can I find them? I get this question quite often, and honestly, I do not know what slip mats I use. So, for instance, my favorite slip mats for the last, I don't know how many years, I can actually just grab one, are my Beat Street slip mats, for the simple fact that they are the color they are, and because Beat Street was one of my favorite stores to visit whenever I went to the States to buy all of their records. But this is not a brand. So I've used a lot of these like generic slip mats just that had like printing from some brand or label on it. So the most important thing for me is that they're just not thick. So they're pretty thin. They're not the thinnest thing out there, and they work great for me. So I've never been one that was like too into getting specific slip mats, people with the butter rugs or adding like an extra little plastic something underneath. I tried stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I found like just give me a simple slip mat that's not too thick, and it'll work just fine for me. So some people might give you very specific recommendations. I'm not one of those people. Let's see. Big V. All right, I was thrown off by the way the looping functions work and save looping and going off with the layout of the settings menu. I was not keen on the way the waveforms look and the way the hotkeys work. I mean, sure, if you're gonna check out the menu in software is gonna be a little bit different. There might be some different features. The waveform, you can change the look of the waveforms. You have three different ways you can see it. You can have like the blue, I think it's the blue ones. You can have RGB, or you can have your waveforms according to the frequencies of your music. So you can see like basically kick snares and stuff like that. So you can change that in the settings. The looping function, I'm not sure how that differs. I mean, it's in a different place compared to where you see it in Serato. I think it works pretty much the same. Okay, and Big V says you can order or you can get the XMG laptop shipped to the States or around the world if you have it ordered through a business. Okay. I didn't know that. That's good to know. Let's see. Mazu says won't be able to handle the current iOS. I mean, you probably mean OS, right? iOS is for your phone, but the OS for your laptop. I still have the SL3 box. I also have the Range 62 and the DDJ 1000 SRT. Now I'm waiting for the Rev 7. But the thing is, the Rev 7 might demand the power from the new MacBook Pros. Nah, that's okay. At the end of the day, it is just a controller. It's just a controller. It has most motorized platters, but it doesn't need a more powerful computer to make it work. You're gonna be fine with whichever one you pick. Video Brownsville, salute to you. What's up, Tommy Black? I appreciate that follow. At least I said Tommy Black. It says Tommy BLK. So let me not assume that means black. Let me say Tommy BLK. Let's see. You do gotta select the right output in OBS or you will get the wrong deck in the in the output. What is that referring to? To which question? And H the Punisher, I see you. Hello. So Crease, what is that? For ease of setup, I use my Range 70 going into a Focusrite Scarlett 18 i8. What's weird is the 120s are just as light as the newer MK7s. From what I gathered, they're great for home use, but not for gigs. Mulberry, salute. I'm not sure about the output OBS story and wrong deck. DJT, cool. Compare the NS7 III to the Rev 7. Well, there's a couple of differences. First off, the size, of course. I mean, the NS7 III is a beast. It's an absolute beast. Great jog wheels. A lot of functions. The screens are amazing as well to have those. So a lot of good stuff going on there. The capacitive touch knobs and stuff. You can do great stuff with it. It is very big and very heavy though. So size-wise, the Rev 7 is a little bit smaller, but it is more mobile, and it will fit on more different stuff. For me, it will still come down to that workflow, and that's just what separates the Rev 7 from all other controllers. The fact that it has the performance pads in the middle section, in the mixer section, and not underneath or even above jog wheels. That for me is a major difference that I noticed. I really like it because that really feels like my normal mixers. So you can't go wrong with an NS7. But again, if it comes down to the workflow, the onboard Pioneer effects, and the placement of the performance pads, that is a winner for me. Now, I won't mention the display, jog wheel displays, because the NS7 Mark III has displays as well. But beyond that, the way it's set up, I really like the Rev 7. But one more time, the NS7 III is an absolute monster. It is. Mass Pro, I appreciate you tuning in. Let's see, what am I seeing here? Spyro with the vinyl, I see you. Cubonics was good. I appreciate that follow, BLM. 29, I see all sorts of numbers. Crease says, I really dig the butter rugs, but they're so thin, you can hear the record dragging against the platter and the needle. Yeah. So, like I said, so some people were really into it. They needed the butter rugs, and some would even have like the little plastic underneath. And I mean, I never felt the need for that. I didn't even feel that much of a difference using something like this, just a thin, normal slip mat compared to those. But to each his own when it comes to their preference, of course. Matt Wiley, I'm sorry, it's spelled Deco, Stylus and Cartridge. Matt, did I miss your earlier one? What are you referring to? Let me scroll back. Did I miss something Matt mentioned? Matt. I'm scrolling back. I can't see it. I can't find it. So, Matt, I'm not sure what the Deco is referring to that you're mentioning right now. Okay, maybe I'll understand in a second. Tech09, I appreciate that follow. If you're going to stay with a bunch of controllers and you want to upgrade from the SB3, look into the Numark Mixtrack Pro FX or Mixtrack Platinum FX. And that's, you're going to decide to stay with Serato, Big V. I think those are good options indeed. And they'll offer you more than your SB3, I think, right? Got you, Joe D. And yeah, Grease. The question is where can you find those? So I think that refers to the butter rugs. So if you know where you can find those, and otherwise I would say a Mad Live, Google is probably your best friend when it comes to that. Prime 4 question with Serato. Have they updated the firmware so the Serato waveforms are visible on the touchscreen like they are when using it in standalone mode? I don't know. If anyone has experience with that Prime 4, let us know in the chat. And the dashboard screens on the NS7 III can actually be taken off and be used with other controllers because it's powered through Serato. Yep. Yeah, I mean the second version of Mark II, that actually came with the screens sold separately, I think, and with the Mark III, the screens were just, you got them with the screens, but you can't detach it. I still have the original NS7, and I have the add-on effects section that you could also add on top. So the place where the screens are, in my place, there's like an effects section there. I liked how they built that whole thing. It had the onboard laptop stand, which is really dope, even though it's in the middle. And now I never play with my laptop in front of me. But at the time, that was dope, especially when I was touring with the NS7. There would not be a lot of room on stage when I was with the entire band. I would just grab a keyboard stand, have that NS7 on, and would have the built-in laptop stand. So for that, it was great. Beyond that, I hate having the laptop in front of you because you're setting up a barrier between you and your audience. But when I'm doing the live gigs with the band, that wasn't as big of an issue because I wasn't playing sets for the audience. Have you heard of the DJ Bun Command Center console? No, I have no idea what that is. No, I have no idea what that is. It sounds really interesting, even though I have no idea what it would be for. The Command Center console. Hey, I've done it. I'm all the way caught up with the comments and the questions. I love it when that happens, with some time to spare as well. So that's dope. Robert Thomas, I found some of my records spin just fine, while others don't, no matter what kind of slip mat I use. I have some white record box vinyl that doesn't slip very well, but my clear vinyl spins fine. It could be, in some cases, that either the hole in the middle is a little bit too tight, so then it'll limit the movement. The thickness of the vinyl also matters, even though I would assume that the record box vinyl wouldn't be that thick. But if you get the thicker vinyl, it just does not spin the same as the thinner, not the same type of control over it. But it could be maybe that the hole in the middle is just a little bit tight when it's on that spindle, and that will limit the movement a little bit. That could be. Oh, got you. It's custom DJ furniture. Yes, I will take a look at that. I mean, anything that says Command Center console sounds like it sounds interesting for sure. And Brad, yes, indeed, warping on the record too. It could be that they're not flat, that they're a little bit bent somehow. Possibly you could get that straight again. So if they're not flat, maybe like get a big stack of books or big stack of vinyl that you can put on top of it, leave it for a day or so. Maybe that'll help. Tech9 says, I really like the traffic light along with the song recommendation features of Record Box. Do you think Serato will ever add that feature? I mean, you never know. You never know. Like sometimes a certain software brand decides to add a feature years later. Sometimes they have their reasons for not adding certain features. So I don't know. I mean, every software has their little differences, and some will have a feature, and that for some people it was one particular feature that would keep them with one software. Even though they saw that the other software had all of these improvements, their software had one feature that kept them there. So for some, this will be important. Maybe if Serato gets enough requests that they actually notice, like, hey, our user base would be interested in this. But I don't know. Hey, Big V, I appreciate the bits, bro. I appreciate that. Much love. Is Mixcloud okay? Yes, it is. But not a lot happening over there. Actually, there are some people there. I see you. Cool. What's on the clock? We got 30 minutes left, so any questions, just drop them in here. And yeah, like I said in the beginning of the stream, I'm actually I just selected. I grabbed some vinyl, and I'll be going through that. So I have the RP 8000 set up with the S7, and just gotta get some power for the turntable. Get the G-code needle on there, and just listen to some of those songs. I want to be a little bit more prepared on Monday, not be just having no idea what records are in a stash. Yeah, especially when you're already limited, and you are limited with vinyl compared to the digital way we play now. I should at least have an idea of what's in the crates. So yeah, I'll be going through this stack. I'm looking forward to it though, man. Like the set on Monday had me energized. I want to make sure that my set on Monday, coming Monday with vinyl, is also gonna have a good level of energy in there. So Cubonics, I stream on Mixcloud every Monday. Actually, every Monday and Wednesday. I'm on Mixcloud now as well. But I stream on Mixcloud every Monday. My mix stream I do there. I stream my mix on Mixcloud, Twitch, and Twitter. And I mean, it works. You know, it's all the way legit. You can have the audio replay up with no copyright issues. Not the video replay, though. There's just not a real community there. That's the problem. There's no real community there yet. And I don't think that's going to happen unless a lot of DJs would actually switch to Mixcloud. I know DJs that stream on Mixcloud, but they're also on Twitch. I hardly know any DJs that are exclusively on Twitch. So as long as most of your favorite DJs are still on Twitch, you're not going to all of a sudden pay a lot of attention to Mixcloud unless your favorite DJs are really there. But there's no real community there. So every Monday when I'm doing my mix stream there, I get a couple of comments on Mixcloud, a couple of people there watching, and that's all love. But that's it. And they can't really bond with the rest of the viewers because the rest of the viewers can see each other's chat. Same here. My people on Twitch can see my people on YouTube. People on YouTube can see the people on Twitch in their chat window. If someone from Facebook adds something or LinkedIn, it'll show up in the chat as well. And I can see all of that in my Restream chat app. The only one that's not added there is Mixcloud. So, yeah, they're kind of left out. I feel like more dudes just use Mixcloud as a repository for their mixes. I mean, that's where it started, of course. I had mixes up on Mixcloud before I ever streamed on it. So when they started to do the stream thing, I was like, let me just put my stream out there as well. But I can just see the difference. Like Twitch has the community. YouTube also has the community, but I just don't do my audio streams there. But it's the little things that they should do. Like if I'm on Restream and I just change the name for the stream, it'll automatically change that for me on the platforms, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook, you name it. Not on Mixcloud. I have to do that separately. And like I said, I'm in the Restream chat app. So now I see Yodi Vaden with another question here from Facebook. And I see that right next to the YouTube and the Twitch questions. But I have to go to a separate window on my computer or on my phone to check Mixcloud. So they're not making it easy for the DJs either. So yeah, Arch, that is DJ Arch, that's a good point. Because I'm not saying that there's no people on there. So there is a community on Mixcloud. Lots of people play on Mixcloud, just not a lot of hip hop and mostly European DJs there. So that is definitely something that I'm not into. So that is definitely possible. I understand and I believe you. And I'm, of course, mostly looking at my own scene. And they're just not there. Biggie Papa, I appreciate that follow. So yeah, for our scene, especially like hip hop, R&B, but also people like playing soul, funk, you name it, US people, I don't see them there a lot. I saw some of the French DJs I know on Mixcloud. I just don't know if they're doing it exclusively on Mixcloud. But still, the community feels is probably not the same, just by simple things like how people would raid each other on Twitch. And I don't know, I don't have enough experience checking enough other streams on Mixcloud. So maybe you know that. When you're checking out house DJs, do you run into the same people in the chat? And is there a lot happening in the chat there? Have they implemented the things like having something compared to like bits and stuff like that? Because they were going to do that. I've just not seen it yet. And in the meantime, Jody, with the question about lighting. I've heard your views on lighting, but could you say something today? What are my views on lighting? What kind of lighting are we talking about? Lighting for just your video? So give me a specific question, Yodi, and then I'll talk all day about it. Sucks that the corporations that have nothing to do with the culture that we force them to invest in wants to meddle in it. It's all about the dough at the end of the day, yeah. I'm bummed Serato's dropped support for the Range 62. Okay, that happened. Yeah, I think I read something about that, Basic. I don't know why actually, because the 62 is, well, I don't know. Okay, so DJ lighting for events and weddings. Well, I don't know if you heard my view about it, because my view is simple. I have no experience with it. I know nothing about DJ lighting. I know about lighting for videos, so live streaming, content creation, stuff like that. But I do not have any experience with DJ lighting. I know nothing about the subject. I don't know the brands. I mean, I can say Chauvet, but I would not be able to give you any type of indication of what's good, what's not, the do's and don'ts. I know nothing about DJ lighting, because that is really something for the mobile DJs, wedding DJs, which is something I'm not, which is an extra skill on top of what you already need to know as a DJ. So unfortunately, I don't know anything about it, but if you have a specific question, I know we have people in the chat that know more about lighting. So if there's anything you want to know, just make sure you drop it in the chat. Let's see. I have a lot of crates that I didn't set up as smart. I have a lot of stuff that just hard to find. Any suggestions for setting up crates with older stuff that pulls in with newer stuff? It's all about the tagging. You need to tag your music. If you put enough information in tags on every track, it's going to make your job easier when you're doing stuff with smart crates. I still have to do that myself as well. That is so important, because and I'm using Rekordbox for that now, because you just have more tagging options in Rekordbox compared to, for instance, Serato. Even though I know some people will just use the comments and just make actual hashtags and put them in the comments. But in Rekordbox, you have the option not just to choose like genre, key, BPM, rating with stars, color coding, but you also have an entire set of extra tags that you can add, where you could have a tag that says warming up or lounge or prime time or pre-peak. You can make your own custom tags there, male, female, group, 808. If you have like a lot of tracks that have a heavy bass, just bass or 808, you can go as specific as you want to, or just something, a type of vibe that certain tracks give you. And they can be from different genres, but if they give you a certain vibe, you could have a tag with just that vibe in it as a name. And then when you make your smart crates, you have a lot of rules you can place in there to make it a very specific crate, which could then take tracks from all eras, as long as they just correspond with the rules. But the tags need to be in the tracks for the smart crates or intelligent playlists to work. So I have a ton of work cut out for me to make that happen. Vess is back. Cubonics, what type of webcam brand are you using? I actually don't use webcams. I mean, I have used webcams for streaming when I was streaming like 10 years ago. For my normal streams here, I've used a bunch of different cameras. The camera I'm using right now here is a Panasonic Lumix S5, which is not a live streaming camera. So do not buy this for live streaming, because it is way beyond what you need for live streaming. This is my new main camera for my content creation for YouTube. But it's, yeah, I mean, if you have a camera like this here, you can use it for your streams as well. Just like, let's go a month or two back, my cameras for the live streams that I was mostly using, especially for the mixes, were a GoPro Hero 9 and a GoPro Hero 10. I have my overview. That's a GoPro Hero 10 right now. The 10 used to be the main cam. This camera here, the Canon M50, I used that for a while as well. They actually all give you good image quality when your lighting is set up right. But of course, this is a way more expensive, higher quality camera. so it can get you all sorts of nice images. Basic, greetings back to you. DJ Hawk was good. Some DJs say you need only 500 songs, but how many do you have when you DJ? Now, I would never say 500, but my end goal is to have less music in my crates, because I do feel I have too much music in there, which only makes the overview harder. Now, once I get enough tracks tagged, the amount of tracks won't even matter anymore, because then I'll be doing so much more with smart crates. 500 might work for some people, but it also depends on how many genres you play as a DJ. If you play one genre, hey, maybe 500 is fine for you. If you play not that often, and if you play and you like to play the same tracks. If you play more genres, you will need more songs. If you play one genre, but you play 3 times a week and you want to be able to do sets with totally different tracks, I don't know. Maybe you want more. 500 is still a lot, though. People might think like, hey, only 500. You should do the math on how long you play, because that's also important. If you normally play like 1 or 2 hour sets, just for a moment, just try to do the math on how many songs you actually play, because that's going to depend on it as well. Like some people will play songs for a minute, some will play songs for 3 minutes. If you play certain house genres where you play songs for 7-8 minutes, you're going to need a lot less music. And if you do a lot of 6 hour sets, you're going to need a lot more music. So there's not going to be one number that's going to work for everyone. But I do believe smaller crates could be a good thing, because too much for most people won't work. But it's going to depend. Some DJs will like to have their entire collection with them. Just Hack, I appreciate that sub. I see you. Much love. Now, let me scroll back. I missed a couple for a sec here. Arch, got you. They only instituted tipping. So yeah, that's the thing about the features. Like I said this before on the stream, I think it was the end of 2020, or maybe just the beginning of 2021, but I think it was the end of 2020 when the head guy, and I forgot his name, my apologies, head guy at Mixcloud was on Cleveland Terry's live stream. And I saw that live stream, and he was talking about that they were going to implement a lot more features that were kind of similar to Twitch. They understood that there were things that they could improve. And I'm pretty sure that he was talking about a time frame of like February to March of 2021. We're now in 2022, and I haven't seen a lot of things change yet. Because I think some of those things are important. Let's say you're a DJ and you're really used to using raids and the tipping system. I mean, I'm not really into it that much. I still need to actually do more research and set up stuff better. Like, I'm still not really, I haven't really gotten a grasp of like channel points. I still need to figure stuff out. I just don't have time to figure out everything in depth. But I know you have a lot of options here. And Mixcloud needs to have more of that, because if people are used to using that with their base on Twitch, they're not even going to be able to get their base to go to Twitch if all of a sudden everything is really different. But then again, like Arch is saying, like there are certain genres and DJs, especially from Europe, that have found their place there. And I can understand for some it might be a good thing. Like if you go to Twitch and you see that it's really oversaturated, maybe you could really focus on Mixcloud and actually build a fan base there. That is possible. And Brad, you were signing in from Texas. Got you. Let's see. Did I miss anything else? I don't think so. Let's go down. Let's see. I saw some cool lightweight setup. Okay, that's basic about lighting. Cool. And let's see. So DJ Hawk, yeah, if you're playing songs like 1 to 3 minutes, if you play for several hours, you can figure out how many songs you played during a set. And yeah, do you play the same songs most sets, or do you like to have like play different tracks? If I'm live streaming every Monday, I mean, I don't focus on it too much, but I do want to play different music than the week before. I don't want people to tune in on 3 Mondays and basically hear the same songs. So in that case, you do probably want to have uh, uh, more songs in there. Michael Z, come on, bruh. You don't miss the Serato face. Yeah, no, not at all. That's the uh, especially like when DJs would have the laptop right in. If you have the laptop right in front of you, and I still see DJs do that. Besides the fact that it's really easy to just start staring at your laptop screen because it's right there. My laptop is there. So, yes, you can look. And even when I'm live streaming here, I have a screen on the side, on this side, that I look at when I'm browsing tracks. But beyond that, I'm working here and maybe looking at the camera, which is the crowd. So if your laptop is in front of you, you just built a wall there and you start to look at it easily. But then again, I still see a lot of DJs when they post like little performance videos that you can just tell, like anytime they start to move their platter, even if it's like vinyl, DVS, or whatever they use, anytime they start to move, their eyes automatically go off to the side to check, just because they gotten so used to monitoring themselves on the screens. They need rehab, screen rehab. DJ Accurate says, I feel 2,500 is enough to cover most bases, and it's a lot easier to flip through when searching. And I mean, to me, that still sounds like a lot, but it depends on how many genres you have to cover, of course. Yeah, Vest, the tipping service was mentioned indeed. DJ On Dex, I see you. Salute. So DJ Arch, I remember somebody at a certain point, somebody pointed me to play DJ TV like quite some time ago. But why would you say they have the best streaming platform? Because I remember I took a look there. I don't remember being impressed or thinking like, hey, this is it. But I'm just not sure anymore. It's been a while, but there's nobody there. That might have a reason as well, but I'm not sure. Leonzo, looking for the best Mac. What do you recommend I get? I don't know. And the reason I say it like this is a best Mac for what? That's so important when people ask questions. Like, if the question is not specific enough, it's really hard to answer. Because are you buying a Mac for DJing? Are you buying a Mac as your live stream set? Are you buying a Mac to do video editing, 3D rendering? What are you buying the computer for? So real simple. If it's just for DJing, you're not going to need that powerful of a computer. So you're probably going to be just fine with a base level Mac. But I can't just answer that. Ondex got you. So yeah, I mean, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitch, I'm on everywhere basically. So this weekly Q&A is on a lot of platforms. But if you want to see me DJ, you have to tune in on Monday, and that's only on Mixcloud, Twitch, and Twitter, because I can't do the audio thing on YouTube. And okay, Vest says they added a private stream feature and the ability to stream from a web browser without needing OBS. I saw it. I saw that come by, but I haven't tested it. But still, like the simple things I'm talking about, like the fact that I cannot change the title for the next upcoming stream in Restream for Mixcloud, but it works for all the other platforms. So I changed the name once in Restream, and then I see that title change on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, but not Mixcloud. I have to do that separately. It's the little things. I mean, if that was the only thing, I don't mind, but they're not inclusive in that matter. Same thing with the chat. They're not in here when the rest is in here. Dylan S, Rev 7 or Rain 1? Rev 7. And I've talked extensively about my reasons for that. And again, the Rev 7, I'm not saying the Rain 1 is not a good controller, but if you're asking me, for me, Rev 7. I cannot choose for other DJs, but for me, 100%. Where can I get extended versions of songs? Extended versions. I mean, DJ pools might have some extended versions. Depends on your meaning of extended version. So if you're talking about like intro edits where you have like 8 bars of just the beat before the track begins, then DJ pools or Beat Source. Beat Source has 100,000 edits in there as well. William G. Canada, I see you. Appreciate that follow. Okay, Arch. I'll give it another look. Like I said, it's been quite some time since I've been there, since I've checked that out, to see what exactly it is. I remember then some people were really hyped about it, and I went to take a look, and I didn't really understand the hype. And the problem for a lot of platforms is you see the same thing happen with social media platforms. Like, I get some of these messages sometimes from, hey, this is the new social media platform. This is going to be great for artists to get in touch with your followers and everything. And you're like, it's brand new. There are no users yet. So there are no followers yet. You're trying to pull me away from a platform where I have a following to go to a platform that doesn't have a following yet. Now, most of the times I will actually make accounts on new platforms. And over the years, I've made accounts on certain social media platforms that never turned out to be something. Just to have my name on there. But also sometimes if all of a sudden in the beginning, it gets a little bit of a hype and you can be there to be discovered by the first load of people, you could maybe build a fan base. But it's not that easy. So yeah, I will check that out with Play DJ TV. And salute to Just Hack. I see you, man. Roger A. Martin. And Code 7, I appreciate that follow. And Dylan says the 72 or S11. So again, I'm just speaking for me. S11. And that's coming from someone who has the 72. And I think it's a great mixer. I just prefer Pioneer's onboard effects. And the workflow is a little bit different. But I don't have an S11. I have a 72. But I've used the S11. And if I had to pick, I would say S11 for me. I know plenty of DJs who have always used the rain mixers and they really prefer their rain mixer. Then that 72, of course, has to be their option because that's going to be more fitting for their workflow. Oh, okay, Vess. I did that on air, didn't I? Yeah. I think someone actually talked about it on the stream and I went to check the website out. I don't remember my response, but I just remember now that I saw the name. I was like, I remember checking that out and I don't think I was impressed, but I'm always keen to check out. Same thing with this. I'm streaming to 6 platforms. I could also focus on one, but why not? I have certain people who never check my YouTube or follow me on Twitch that see this pop up on their Facebook or even on their LinkedIn. So yeah, definitely willing to check that out. Let's see. Have you tested the Denon SC6000M? No. The 5000M, yes. And I like that one. I have not tested the 6000, and I don't know if there's a major difference in the performance. And I'm now talking mostly about just the motorized platter, but I haven't tested it. And J Money, J Money, I see you. I'm not liking, I'm loving that Rev 7, and I'm dreading the day that I have to return this one to Pioneer because this is still the one that I'm using here for the testing, but I need one in my life. I know that. Big V says, I've been a rain user for years, but for me, it's possible to the highest end, and I will give it the ask. Wait. I've been a user for years. After 11, and then the rain 70. Okay. Oh, that's not a question, just a remark. I got you. Yeah, and Arch, like that's gonna be hard. So even if let's say Play DJ improved and their features are great, that would mean that if you start there, you actually have to now pull an audience over there And it's pretty hard to get people to go to a new platform, even if they know the name. Like I've noticed that the same thing with like Mixcloud. Like they're like, okay, yeah, we know about Mixcloud, but now we're on Twitch. Or in the beginning, it was even hard for me to get some of my YouTube people to come to Twitch because I tried the music thing on YouTube and I'm just not jeopardizing my channel there. And then I tell my YouTube fam, like, hey, so I did like a little live before I went on to my mix, and I would tell them like, hey, I'm going live with the mix right now, but I can't do it here on YouTube. So come join me on Twitch. And I would have like 40 people within the first couple of minutes on YouTube. And I would make that notification. And then you see like maybe 4, 5, 6 who actually make the jump over to Twitch. And the rest don't come. And some people will say like, yeah, man, I don't want to make an account for something new. Like making an account only takes a couple of seconds. But for some people, just to add another platform is like, man, I'm already using this and this and that. I don't want to use more platforms. So if you now come to them with a platform that they haven't even heard about, they're like, yeah, you know what? I'm good over here. I have all these DJs here. So if you're not streaming here, yeah, maybe I'll catch you in the future. It is so it's a tricky one. People really are hesitant when it comes to change. Even if change doesn't mean you have to stop using one platform, but just to add one. Some people make it sound like it is the hardest job in the world, making a new account. Vess. Yeah, that would be an option. Like, just don't answer the phone. I was on the phone with him for an hour and a half today, though. Leonzo says, what are some good scratch patterns for beginner DJs? I think the best thing you can do, and you're on YouTube right now, Leonzo, the best thing you can do right now is go check out my new tutorial series that's on YouTube right now called The Breakdown. That tutorial series is specifically for beginners where I break down scratch patterns. And I take some of the patterns from my Saturday Sessions videos, and in every video, I'll just break down one pattern. So I'll show it step by step, then do it slow, then do it a little bit faster, and you can start to practice those. So that is my best suggestion. If you're a beginner DJ, you kind of mastered the basic scratch techniques, but now you want to experiment with patterns. Check out The Breakdown. The first 2 parts are up, and I'll be adding a lot more. So, I mean, I'm taking patterns that I've already done in Saturday Sessions videos. So I have a lot of material to look back on. I just started with my latest Saturday Sessions video, and I probably do, I don't know, somewhere between 10 to 20 patterns every video. So there's a lot to cover. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, when I received a question about patterns, I freestyle everything. I don't know what pattern I'll be doing until I just start to do it. But that also means that I have a ton of different patterns. Even if some are just a little bit different, maybe I do one scratch in between different than the other, it's still a different pattern. And I'm going to break all of those down. So that's going to be great for beginners. So make sure you check that out. You're on YouTube right now, so you can just click over. This stream is about to end, and you can go check out those tutorials right now. Hey, I appreciate you, Arch. I appreciate that. That's always dope to hear. And what is Vinyl Touch adding there? I see you, man. Vess says it was crazy how difficult it was for DJs to get the crowd over to Twitch from Instagram. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and for some of us, Twitch doesn't sound that alien. You already knew of its existence, of course, just from the gaming thing, but you heard the name. But yeah, a lot of DJs started to do the Instagram thing. Then they noticed like, hey, Instagram, Facebook, that streaming stuff is not really working as well. But then to get people over there, like I did it on Monday, I did a live on Instagram, like during the countdown. So I have a 5-minute countdown before my streams begin. During that countdown, I went live on IG just to let people know, like, hey, I'm going live right now. Come check me out on Twitch, Mixcloud, and Twitter. There's only a couple of people. And on IG Live, when I go live, within like a minute, I'll have like whatever, 50 people watching. There's only maybe a couple, if they already have an account, that are like, okay, I'd like to see it. For most people, 2 clicks is already too much. It's crazy, but it is what it is, though. Yeah, see? Big V. I know people who still stream on Instagram and get cut off, and they see me stream on Twitch for hours and still want me to switch. It's really hard to make people change their ways. I know. J Money, the DJ, says, so if you could rate the 3 motorized platter controllers, Rain 1, Rev 7, and NS3, the Pioneer would take it easily. Yes, for me. Simply because of the layout of that controller. That will be the one for me. The onboard Pioneer effects, the layout, performance pads in the middle. That is, for me, a no-brainer. But the Rain 1 looks like a great controller. I'll be testing it in a couple of weeks. And the NS7 III, beast. It is. I would love playing on an NS7 III. No problem. But if you make me pick, Rev 7. Correa Pro Studios. Yep, that's the problem. People don't want to make an account. Yeah, man. And most of us, and I'm speaking for all of us here now, are not in that position where we could say, like, hey, I'm going live. This is the only place where you can watch me. You have to be a DJ of a certain status with a certain type of following who could make that happen. And even if their following only a smaller percentage goes, if they go and they spread the word afterwards, like, wow, that was dope, then FOMO kicks in for the rest, that fear of missing out. And the next time that DJ does it, more people will come. But you need to have a certain status and following to be able to have a following actually come to a specific place that you tell them to go to. Most of us are not in that position. There's like plenty of DJs they can watch. So if you're not doing it there, they'll wait for some other DJ to jump on IG or Facebook and do it. It is what it is. Hey, Vinyl Touch, I got you, man. Hey, work comes first, yo. Work comes first for sure. Creative Touch says, where does DJs get their music from, especially the DJ edits with intros and outros? DJ pools. So DJ pools, and if you do not need the tracks on your computer, then BeatSource is a great alternative if you're looking to go the streaming route. They're the only ones that offer you edits through the streaming route. And otherwise, most DJ pools will have edits. Mazu says, who do you think? And I'll do a couple more vests. See you next time, because we're already over the time. So we'll do the couple more, and then I'm going to call it a day for today so I can get back to the vinyl over there. Mazu says, what do you think in order of number from 1 to 10 and on fall into the right spot? Qbert, Craze, Mixmaster Mike, Jazzy Jeff, DJ Angelo, Scratch Bastard, Shortcuts, Kentaro. So what are we ordering here? What are we judging on? Are we judging scratching? Are we judging turntablism as a whole? Or are we judging them as DJs playing a club set? Because some of these DJs I've never or hardly hear play a club set. If I'm just judging off my favorite DJs on this list, I can say it's a very dope list. And all the DJs on this list are very skilled DJs. But if we're talking about sets, so which DJ I've heard play plenty of times in clubs and would like to hear a set from, first off, that would be Jeff, Craze, Scratch Bastard, and Angelo. But oh wow, I did not put a charger in the iPad. 10%, that's gonna work. And I don't know the order. I have to give that more thought. Scratching. I mean, I can only say there's one number one here, and that is the alien on the list. That's Qbert. And I don't even think that's the DJ I love to hear scratching the most. Technically, this DJ is on the totally different level. But I don't know if I prefer to listen to the scratches the most, because I'm into funky scratches. It doesn't have to be the most technical. But damn, I couldn't even tell you a list there. That's rough. Like on the spot, I can't give you a list. Yeah, Vinyl Touch, I got you. They don't want to install an app and make an account. Even though, like, if you go on the computer, you wouldn't even have to install an app. You can just go to twitch.tv. And even with Twitter, I'm streaming my stream on Twitter. I know most of the people have a Twitter account. And my video streams, my mix streams, the replays are there as well. But even that, like, I have to go on Twitter. Like, I hardly get any response on Twitter. All right, real quick, because I see more stuff being added. I want to just handle this quickly because we're going over the time. My vinyl is waiting for me. Make sure you tune in on Monday. Crates on Monday, all vinyl edition. Make sure you tune in for that one. Dale Oliver says, I remember back when DJs started using Twitch right before COVID. I couldn't even get the switch because the antivirus software was blocking it. Oh, wow. Okay, and Dale Oliver is on Extender Mix for videos and edits. Chris Camouflage, it's harder to get music now. Wait, let's see. It's harder to get music nowadays than back then. That only makes a little bit of sense if you're playing on vinyl. If you're playing digitally, it is way easier to get music now compared to back in the days. It's not even close. So if we're talking vinyl, you're right, because not everything or a lot is not being pressed on vinyl. You're going to have a hard time finding a lot of the new music. If we're talking about digital, bro, you could go join a pool today and even add the digital online stores and build a collection tonight. You could never do that back in the days. So no. And if that's the reason why you stopped DJing, you should start DJing again. All right. So Brad, salute to you. DJ Licks, where is your list? So I don't know. I don't have a list. If this is about the DJs, I cannot make a list right now. Franchise Record Pool has a lot of intros, outros. I've been in contact with them. They're working on their system, so it could be another option where you can stream your music through Serato, Rekordbox, and Virtual DJ. I highly doubt it because I don't think they have. I mean, I don't know. But as far as I know, you need to have your licenses and stuff in order to make that happen, to be a part of that streaming service. But I'm not sure. So yeah, we'll wait and see. Glad to see you on Twitch. Followed you faithfully. Hey, Rado 72. I appreciate that. Much love. If you watch Twitch through the computer and not do an account, it won't let the person join the chat. They could only watch. Hey, but even that's still someone viewing. Who ate my sandwich? Yes, the Monday stream is at the same time as the Wednesday. I go 8 p.m. Central European time on Monday and on Wednesday. So be there. And Jody says you can add intros using Serato Studio. Yes, you could also definitely make your own edits, but that is some extra work in there. Hey, Mazu, I appreciate that. I appreciate that super chat a lot. I really appreciate that. So thank you. I was glad I could add some value, and I'm here every Wednesday. You can make intros and outros in Serato Studio, free version. Roger A. Martin, second one who says it. So yeah, I mean, making your own edits is always an option. Depending on the track. Some tracks don't really give you a lot of space. Like you need a nice bar of empty, just the beat to extend it and put it at the beginning. But yeah, for a lot of tracks that would work. Robert, I appreciate that follow. And Rado 72. Much love. And Tech 6. Oh, it's Tech 09. Your name wasn't blue first. The first time it was a different color, I think. Okay. But Tech 09 says, Tech 9 says, I seem to get muted a lot after my streams with music I purchased from Track Source. So you're talking about Twitch, right? Look, my streams, right after I do my music stream on Twitch, the replay is at least 80% muted. So that has nothing to do with Track Source. It's all about copyrights. Yes. So that happens to me every single time. And I delete the replays just straight away just to make sure I don't get any issues with Twitch. Twitch is perfect for me for the live stream, but the replay I just deleted. Yeah. So Curtis, good to see you. Das Hawk, good to see you. And yeah, Robert just opened a Twitch account. There we go. Yes. So yeah, man, that's the thing. Like, YouTube is great for the Wednesdays, but for the music, I just don't want to jeopardize my YouTube channel. I know some DJs still do their streams on YouTube. I've done it. I will receive like 80 emails the next day with like copyright claims, and that was still even okay. I could still do the live stream. But once I got that warning that I was violating their policy, I was like, all right, hit the brakes, full stop. I do not want anything to happen to my YouTube channels, not this one or my old one. So the music, Twitch is a great option for the live stream, not the replay. Mixcloud is a great option, even though there's no people there. And Twitter works well. It used to be Periscope, now it's just Twitter Live, and it works for me. So Rado, now I don't save the replays either, but I actually just delete them straight away. Yeah, just in case. That's just in case. I don't want anything to. I don't want to give them any reason, because I know certain gamers did get in trouble on Twitch, even with like clips that they had up, and they're playing music in the background while they're gaming. Mazu says I got an input on intros and outros and edits that you could do it yourself. My colleague DJ's brother found out about it recently. I mean, there's many ways to do it yourself as well, indeed. Vinyl Touch, I wonder what Twitch is doing behind the scenes besides muting to prevent record labels from coming at them. Yeah, because that is something I've been wondering as well. Every time I stream on live stream, and after this I gotta stop. Every time I stream on Twitch with the music, the stream is perfectly fine. After that, all of that replay, like I said, like 80% of it is muted. Meaning that the content ID system is working and it is catching all of those tracks and seeing that it's copyrighted material. But when I go to my channel page, Twitch is telling me that I have no issues, that I'm perfectly clean. So I'm like, okay, every time I stream, you see that there's a lot of songs in there that are copyrighted, but they're definitely not bothering me with it. So I don't know what they do. Indeed. So either they have a content ID system so they see it, but they don't share it with the label. I don't know. It still technically isn't legal to broadcast like this on Twitch? No, like the only legal one basically is Mixcloud, because they actually have the licensing that deals with the labels. And Twitter isn't legal. Periscope wasn't legal for sure. But I think they're just too small, so no one noticed. I had my Periscope, and the replay would always be up. There's no copyright warnings, nothing. Same thing with Twitter. You can go to my Twitter right now, but you have to go through my timeline to find the posts where you see the live stream. But then you can see all of the mixed live streams. They're still on there. So yeah, I don't know exactly how it is. I just know I can live stream on Twitch and Mixcloud and Twitter, delete the replay on Mixcloud, and then I have no issues. All right, let's call it a day. Tech9, Vinyl Touch, Mazu Sub. I see all of you. Rado72. I see DJ Chemogram. I appreciate that follow. I see JB Jr. Junior Biles. Salute to you from New Zealand. Much love, much love. And let's see. And so Manu, yeah, about acapellas and instrumentals of any song. I think I've seen the thumbnail for that from that YouTuber, and you have a bunch of different ways to do that. I think he's using if I saw the screenshot correctly, I think he's using the one called Lala. Was it Lala? Lala or Lal, Lala. No, L. I think it's Lalal. Lalal is the site. And it's not .com, it's .something else. It's not .io, it's something else. But Lalal, they have a free version to do track separation, because that's the thing now. You have Algorithm DJ. Algorithm DJ has the option with Neural Mix where you can take a song and just hear the vocals or just hear the drums or the melody. Virtual DJ has that as well. I forgot what they call it. I have software here called RX8 by Isotope. tonal balance, which allows me to take apart tracks, separate them, and you have one or two other sites that also allow you to upload a song, and it will give you an acapella and track parts. So there's numerous ways. Now, you could also do that. So, for instance, if a song doesn't have a clean piece of beat, but you want to make your own intros and outros, you could make a separation and have your own instrumental, and then take a part of that and copy paste it, put it in front of the song to build your own intro and outro. So there are options. Vinyl Touch says Splitter is free. Splitter sounds like split, so I guess it's also the same thing. I think there's like 4, 5, 6 websites that do it, and then you have a couple of DJ software applications that do it. MIRX software by Isotope does it as well. So yeah, lalal.ai. Thank you, K-Dub. So you have a bunch of those that will do the same thing. Yeah. And that has become normal now. Like a couple of years ago, people would ask me, hey, can you make this song instrumental? I would look at them like, no, of course not. This is the final song. How can I do that? We would need to have the studio files. But now you can do it. Serato Flip, well, it doesn't separate, but Serato Flip could be used to make intros as well, if that's what you're talking about. For sure. DJI Chronicles, I see you. Salute to all of you. Junior Biles, I saw you. And everyone else in the chat higher up that I can't see anymore right now. I want to thank you for joining me today. Once again, I'm here every Wednesday with Share the Knowledge Live. I also do the podcast. That's the Share the Knowledge podcast. New episode coming up in a day or two. The next one is about DJ gear. The last ones were about preparing a set, selecting songs, all of that stuff. You can check that out on all streaming platforms. New YouTube content coming up. More of the breakdown tutorials. Working on some reviews. A lot of stuff going on. And make sure you tune in on Monday for my mix show called Crates. And this coming Monday is going to be an all vinyl edition. So I play on everything. I do DVS. I do controllers, CDJ sets. I've played on the RX3 a couple of weeks ago. But once a month, you can catch me with nothing but vinyl that I grab right here. And I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. Who ate my sandwich? Salute to you. So Tech 9, you can tell with certain ones of those options, they don't all sound the same. And they don't all sound great. So you can tell, like I've done the separation with Neural Mix and Algorithm DJ, and it's cool. It works, but I can definitely hear how some of the frequencies are being eaten alive. I think I tried the La once. I think it sounded pretty good, but none of them are perfect. My Isotope RX8 can do a pretty good job as well, but it's not going to be perfect. And that's not weird, because they do have to somehow separate frequencies, and some instruments or some vocals will have some frequencies in there. I had one that had it did a good split. Instrumental sounded really clean, but I know the song well. It's a song I produced myself, so I know exactly what is where. I could hear like the lowest frequencies of the vocal in the instrumental. You can't really hear it, but I could hear. So this is low frequencies. I don't know, probably somewhere between like 50 and 100 hertz, like low. But I could hear the cadence of the flow of the vocal. Now that's good enough. If you add a beat over that, or if you add an acapella over that instrumental, no one's really going to notice, but I would never call them perfect yet. But it's a great gimmick, and it's getting to that better level. Lou Roman, real quick, I see you. I have the DJM S11. What's a good location to MIDI map the quantize option? Oof, I have no idea. I've not done that, so I could not tell you that. And Rado 72, yes, I have a Rev 7 video on my YouTube channel. So you can check that out. Loving that one. Let's see. Yes, Dale Oliver, I agree. I haven't tried it in Virtual DJ, but I've seen that in Algorithm DJ. With some tracks, I got really good separation. And with other tracks, you could tell the way the song was mixed that if you try to get drums, you were still getting so many of the frequencies were overlapping with other sounds in the track. So you didn't get clear drums. You still got like vocals and other stuff in there. So it really depends on tracks. And Vinyl Touch, yeah, like Tractor stem format, that was a different level. But then again, you are dealing with, in that case, you actually have to provide tracks in actual stems. So the quality is going to be a lot higher, but it's not something we could do ourselves, if I remember correctly. So the actual producers would have to offer you the song and the stems, but then you would have like great quality. Fudge, I appreciate that follow. Chris on the mix also depends on how the songs were mixed. Yeah, like I said, exactly. So yeah, that's it. I'm out. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to see y'all next, hopefully on Monday. Hopefully y'all tune in for that all vinyl edition. That will be very cool. And thank y'all for tuning in. Right? Yep. Peace, y'all. Diesel Monster, I see you. Salute. I had to switch back because my mic is not on the other one. I'm going to turn it off now. I won't have a mic anymore. Peace, y'all. Peace, peace, peace.